welcome. My name is Victoria. I'll be your clinician working with you today. So we're just gonna go through a lot of these questions. So we'll get started. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No.
Okay. It'll be mostly confidential unless I hear about child abuse or anything like that. So what's your name?
My name is Desire Spurgeon.
Okay. What's the last name?
Spurgeon.
Okay. And then what's your date of birth?
January 1st.
Okay.
1999.
99, okay. So that would make you 18? Okay. And then female?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then race?
Black.
Okay.
African American.
Oh, you said she's white.
Oh, I was changing it for the video purposes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I put it in my thing, but I was like, I have to change a little bit of stuff because it's this and me.
Okay. And then, are you married?
No.
Okay. And then, are you living in roommates or how's your living situation?
I live with both of my parents.
Okay. The same house you grew up in?
No, we moved about 2 years ago here. So
okay.
Initially I'm from San Francisco.
Okay. That'll be my next question. So you were born in San Francisco?
Yes.
Okay. And then where'd you grow up?
Same place.
Same place, okay. And then, were you raised by both of your parents?
Yes.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I'm an only child.
Only child, okay. So no step siblings. Your parents are still married?
Yes.
Okay. Has he ever been married? Okay. So are you still in school?
Not currently.
Okay.
No.
So what was the highest grade you completed?
11th grade.
Okay. And that was last year? How long ago were you?
Yeah, that would be last year. I dropped out at the mid-senior year, I would say.
Okay.
So I was supposed to graduate this summer.
Okay.
This past summer, 2017.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Oh, so you're supposed to graduate this spring.
Mm-hmm.
And then when did you drop out? Midway through, you said?
Yeah, I'd say about December, maybe.
December, okay. Do you want to elaborate on why you left?
Had some issues with peers,
Okay.
harassment, bullying, so
Okay.
eventually I just decided to drop out after
Okay.
dealing with it for so long.
So I guess on that note, would you say you overall disliked school?
Not at first. I actually enjoyed school. I liked hanging out with friends. I'm really extroverted, outgoing, or at least I used to be. And being that I moved here so recently, 2-3 years ago now, at first it was kind of hard, being in a new place, being a sophomore, and making friends. I had this one really good friend. Her name was Kat, and when she moved, things kind of got hard for me. So
She was your friend here?
yeah,
Okay.
when I first moved here, and then she moved away, so that's when I would say that things got hard, and other people were just not so nice.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that. And so you would say after Kat moved, and that's when things got harder. You mean the harassment?
Yeah, people just weren't nice, so kind of miss her, still do.
Okay. So what were your grades like before you left?
At first coming in, they were fine. I would say about B's. But eventually, going throughout my junior year and, of course, coming into my senior year, they started falling as I would sometimes just not go to school or I would skip to avoid peers. So.
Okay. Growing up, did you ever fail a grade?
No.
Okay. Any special education?
No.
Okay. So you mentioned that you would skip school. Did you get in trouble for that?
Yeah. Sometimes I would just walk out of class if some of the people in class were harassing me. I would just walk out, and I would get in trouble sometimes, get called to the principal's office. So I actually did get suspended once for getting in an altercation with one of my ex-friends. We got into a fight, and I was suspended for that.
Like a fist fight?
Yeah. She hit me, and I was suspended for it as well. So that's pretty much the only thing as far as actual trouble. I went to school therapy a few times, but it wasn't like I was in trouble or anything.
Was it helpful at all?
Not really. I don't feel as if I was really being heard. So,
what was going on at the time that you saw? Was it after the fight?
Yeah, it was after the fight. Just more of those school issues with the peers, people harassing me. They tried to talk to me about that and see if there were other avenues that I could take to handle with it instead of skipping school.
Because it sounds like whenever all this was happening, you had some trouble like coping with all of that. And is that what you were seeking out from the therapist at school?
Yeah, I wanted the people to be dealt with. I wanted somebody to actually hear me when I was saying, that these people were harassing me on a day-to-day basis, but overall, like, nothing was done about it. So it's like, why am I here when I'm constantly facing these sort of harassment and being bullied every day? So pretty much just tried to deal with that, but nothing was done. So.
Yeah, that seems like really hard, and it seems like you were frustrated with that since they weren't doing anything about that.
Certainly, I was pretty angry going to school because, like I said before, it was something that I enjoyed. I like going to school, I love to write. And then eventually just become a place where I didn't feel safe or comfortable at all. So.
So you're telling me that you were like really enjoying school, and then once all that happened, it just kind of took all that enjoyment away.
Yeah, hated going there.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to be there at all, so just dropped out.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever had a job?
Yeah. My first job was working with my dad. He has like a convenience store with like a pharmacy. So I worked there over the summer. When I actually moved here, it's not too far. It's like we live in a small town, so he has a pharmacy here, and I worked there just like I said in the summer before school started. And
the summer that so like not this past summer, but the summer before.
Yeah, the summer before that.
Okay.
And I worked there. It was actually 2015. So yeah,
okay.
Summer before that. 2015 summer I worked there until school started, and then I got another job shortly.
Which was doing what?
Working at a movie theater. It's called Crestmont Theater.
Okay.
And I worked there for about 2 years before I decided to quit.
Okay. And so you're not working there anymore?
No.
Are you working anywhere else right now?
No. Sometimes I help my dad at his shop again, but I don't work there like as a regular job. I just go in just to get out of the house sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So the movie theater be the longest job you've ever had?
Yes.
And why did you leave that job?
This kind of stemmed like around the time where I dropped out of school. It was like a lot of those peers from school would be there at the movie theaters. Since I was working there throughout the school year, they would come like after school and harass me there as well. So I just didn't feel comfortable anymore. I just didn't want to be around those peers in school and outside of school. It was already bad enough. I had to go to school with them, and then they would just come to my job and do the same stuff. So I just quit, turned in my uniform, and just left without saying anything to anyone. So.
Yeah, it seems like just like you're getting it everywhere in your daily life. Which is hard. Okay. So Do you currently handle your personal finances? Or if you don't have a job, you may not have many finances.
Yeah, well, I still get from helping out my dad with
Okay.
the job. I still get a bit of money, and then I still have like a savings account. So
Okay.
I have a bit of money saved up that I keep it.
Okay. No military experience?
No.
Right? Okay. Are you aware of any complications during your birth?
No.
Did you crawl, walk, and talk when you were supposed to?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever suffered a head injury or a loss of consciousness?
No.
Okay. Are you currently being treated for any physical illnesses or injuries? Are you taking any medications?
No.
Okay. Have you ever suffered from a seizure?
No.
Or a blackout?
Yeah, sometimes I have blackouts when I drink
Okay.
alcohol.
Okay. Do you drink often? Or I may get there. Yeah. Can go through that. So, when did you start to drink?
At first I would drink occasionally when I used to party with my friends when Kat was still around. I would,
Like, how old were you?
I would say this was 2015, so
Okay.
sophomore,
Mm-hmm.
going into junior year, like around that summer, I would just drink at parties just to, have a good time. Everybody was drinking, so there's nothing wrong. And then I would say it became more of a frequent thing when I began to be bullied. I would use that and just to make me feel good, So now I do it pretty much all the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Say about every day, maybe.
Okay.
Just so that I can feel better.
Does it make you feel better?
Yeah, at the moment it does, but afterwards, where I'm hungover or blacking out or stuff,
Okay. So would you say you get like drunk every day that you drink?
Yeah, if I drink to an extent, I may get drunk, or sometimes I'll just pass out. So.
Okay. Have you drank today?
No, actually, I have not had a drink today.
Did you do yesterday?
Yeah, last night.
Okay.
Before going to bed, I had a few drinks.
Okay. Have you ever smoked cigarettes?
No.
Okay. Marijuana or any other like substances?
Pills sometimes.
Okay. What kind of pills?
Honestly, I really don't know.
Painkillers?
Maybe, like, my dad just has a pharmacy, so sometimes I just go in there and take some of those.
Okay.
Probably a little bit of painkillers, a little bit of antidepressants, maybe. Just something just to make me feel okay.
Okay. How old were you when you first started to do some of these pills?
This was actually recent. I would say around the springtime, or when I began to feel a little bit more lonely and sad because of the bullying issues. And being that I dropped out of school by then, I was just more so at home and just needed something to kind of like take the edge off so I wouldn't feel anymore. I just didn't want to feel.
Okay. So whenever you take pills, how much would you take at one time? Per time that you took it?
Probably about 4 pills, depending on the dosage. Usually about 4.
Okay. So any other types of substances you've used?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been physically abused?
No.
Okay. Sexually abused?
Yeah. Recently at a party, well, this was kind of like going into, right before I dropped out, I went to a party, like a normal party with friends. At this point, I had already been bullied and harassed, so I just didn't really care anymore. But one night in particular, I decided to take a walk, and I don't know, I guess I just wasn't thinking, or I just kind of blacked out, but I just walked to a party. I just was following the music, and I found myself at one of a old friend's house, and a party was going on. And when I first got there, everybody was having a good time, drinking, and partying, and so it didn't really bother me much when I got there. I was also enjoying it at first.
And you had been drinking that night too? Or at this point, no?
Before I got there, no. When I did get there, I had a few drinks that I got from an old friend. So they were, all being nice and, like we were cool again. And so I was just kind of partying with them. I didn't have a lot to drink to the point where, I was drunk or anything. I had just a sip of beer, so I was still fine. When I was partying, I didn't really want to drink too much because I didn't plan to be there long. I really didn't plan there to be at all. So everyone went inside to go to the bathroom, and then some of my other friends went home because it was pretty late by the time I got there. And this one guy in particular forced himself on me, and this is actually I went to see the school counselor myself about this issue, and I don't feel that it was dealt with, so I didn't really know how to react to that. And I would say, like, after that moment is kind of when I really shut down and started using alcohol more heavily and taking pills to the point where I was taking pills like I am now. But before this actual moment, I wasn't really a drinker.
So this, you think, was kind of the turning point for you for all these other things to start happening?
Yeah, because before this, I would only drink like I said, at parties, and I wasn't doing pills at all, which is, I started that this year. So yeah, after that happened.
So when did this night happen? Was this before you dropped out?
Yeah, this was before I dropped out. Okay. This was this year.
Okay.
So around February.
Okay.
Sometime in February, this is when that happened. And then I dropped out of school a little bit after that.
Okay.
Probably a week or so after that happened. So in my senior year, yeah, that was still this year.
Okay.
And then I started using the pills in March. So I think it, maybe was definitely a trigger for me.
Yeah. Did you know the guy that did this to you?
Yeah, we were, I wouldn't say really close friends, but we knew of each other. It's very popular around the school, and pretty much family has a lot of money, really important people, so I didn't really know who I should talk to kind of express what happened with the abuse and everything. So I tried to go to my school counselor and see what I should do, but didn't really help much there. So
yeah. So it seems like you're still pretty upset about this, especially since you did try to seek out help and, get him, kind of justice served to him, basically, but just wasn't happening.
Yeah, it was upsetting, but then, over time, it's just I felt powerless, weak, well, there's nothing I can do about it, so.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I just wanted to give up, which is why I just turned to drinking alcohol and taking pills. But then it's it just, I just don't feel anymore, it's why am I living? So maybe it was time to come see if I can get some help again. But yeah, sometimes I just feel like, okay, it's like I'm empty. So.
So you say that you've been feeling just like really powerless and down recently. And like before this, you said you were like really extroverted and like outgoing. Were you more like positive mood until the recent events?
Yeah, I was happy all the time before all the issues with bullying and harassing, and then the abuse went on. I was really extroverted. I was always the one to go up to people and talk. The party really didn't start till I got in. So yeah, it's definitely different now.
Yeah, and so I hear you saying that you just want to give up and like there's not much left for you to do. So have you ever thought about committing suicide?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I do think about killing myself, especially when I have those pills there. Sometimes I just want to overdose on them, or sometimes I'll cut myself.
Do you cut yourself often?
Yeah, sometimes when I get real low, I just cut myself.
Have you ever attempted to commit suicide?
Not fully out. But yeah.
With like the other forms of like cutting.
I haven't really. The idea has crossed my mind, but nothing that I've planned out to do. So. I'm trying to take steps so that it doesn't get to that point.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, the idea has crossed my mind sometimes.
Okay. So with all of this, you know, you're feeling really down and just kind of like at the end of your ropes. So you're coming in here. So have you been feeling like really stressed and like anxious with all of this happening?
It doesn't make me feel really stressed. It's just, I don't really feel it all anymore.
Okay. How have you been sleeping?
Can't really sleep unless I'm drunk or high on the pills. So.
Okay. Have you been having like any hallucinations?
No.
Okay. Any delusions?
No, I'm not crazy. Just
okay. Have you ever been diagnosed with mental illness?
No.
Okay. Have you ever done any psychological testing?
No, this would kind of be mine.
Okay. And so you said that you've seen the therapist at your school a few times?
Just twice.
Okay.
The first time I went because I was skipping school and walking out of class, so they recommended it, and then, you know, they would just call me to the principal's office to go, and then the second time I went on my own because of the assault or the abuse that happened, and I tried to get help for that, but...
Yeah. Okay. And so you said that you have taken like antidepressants before. Have you ever been prescribed anything?
Not prescribed, no.
Okay. And then have you ever taken any other psychiatric medicines that you know of?
No.
Okay. So how do you spend a typical day?
Now, I usually just...
now.
I'll probably help my dad out at the shop a little bit. And watch... just stay around the house watching TV, maybe.
Okay. So what kind of things do you do for fun?
Watch movies.
Okay. So you don't really like hang out with any of friends anymore, or
what friends?
Okay. Have you noticed any changes in your personal care?
Um, yeah, maybe a little bit. Sometimes I just don't feel like getting up and doing things that I would normally do as far as getting dressed up and showering less often, maybe.
Okay. Have you seen any differences, like, in your interests and activities? Like, you say you watch movies, is that what you've always liked to do, or were there other things that you used to enjoy doing that you don't maybe see as much enjoyment anymore?
Maybe. I used to love writing. I was actually in a writing club.
Oh, okay.
So, like, we would do poetry. And that was for the school. So, of course, I'm not at school anymore, so
Yeah.
I don't go to that.
Do you ever write on your own?
Yeah, I would love. I used to like write all the time. Now I don't do it as often. Like,
Yeah.
Sometimes I just write about my feelings, like kind of like a diary or journal. But now I'm not. I'm really just not as motivated anymore to do anything. So
yeah. So you saying that you don't really have many friends anymore, so you just don't like see many people other than your parents, or do you have any other family around?
No, since we moved to a new town, it's just my parents, myself, no pets, anything.
Okay.
I don't have any friends anymore to hang out with, so pretty much just alone all the time. My parents work.
Yeah.
And when I'm not helping them in the shop, I don't see them. I'm just home alone, so.
Seems like all of this together has been, really stressful for you and putting a lot on you. Have you noticed any differences in ability to, like, understand or remember instructions or anything like that?
Understanding and instructions, not really. I don't really receive any of those as far as like working or doing anything.
Yeah.
But maybe when I black out or I'm drinking alcohol a lot, sometimes can't understand or focus or anything.
Okay. Have you ever had any like legal charges against you?
No.
Okay. So with that fight that you're in at school, no like charges came out of that?
No. I don't even know if the other girl, because I did not hit her back. I was just suspended because it looked to be a fight, but she actually just like smacked me. So I'm not sure if there were charges placed on her. I don't believe there were.
So let's see. So kind of already asked you about your social life, and it doesn't seem to be like there's a whole lot going on. Do you have any romantic relationships right now? Okay. And then your friendships, not so much anymore since Kat has gone away?
No, I talk to Kat sometimes, but she's busy a lot, so not really. We just try to FaceTime when we can. Okay,
so you are in contact with her some, though?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you handle an argument with, like, a friend or a family member?
I just try to avoid them. Don't really like confrontation. So just walk away.
Okay. And so is that what you typically did, like, when you were at school and the people were being mean to you?
Yeah, just walk away.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I anything else. So how do you respond to, like, your supervisors, like, at the movie theater? I know you, at the pharmacy, it's your dad, but how do you kind of respond to your supervisors?
It was fine when I was there, and everything was going well.
Mhm.
It was no issue at all. Like,
Okay.
I was actually really enjoyed that job. When new people came in, I trained
Yeah.
them and everything. So
Okay. And so then with your coworkers, did you get along?
oh yeah,
Mhm.
it was fine.
Okay. And then how do you do under like work pressures?
There was nothing really that I couldn't handle.
Okay.
It was fine.
Okay. Mm. Alright, so it seems like you've been down a lot. And so have you noticed like any changes like in your appetite?
I guess I eat when I feel like it. I'm not sure.
Okay. So you're like eating less than normal or more than normal? Like than before, like that night with that guy happened? Or nothing you really noticed?
I guess it's fine, normal. I guess.
Okay.
Not sure.
Okay. Well, I think that's everything that I have for you. Do you have any questions for me?